Welcome to TradingABI.com. This is John. This report is for the 9th of July. Well, we had a brief little dip down just below the APM, came supported right off the 76%, and got some buying from there. Moved it back above the ABM yellow, and once we get back above the ABM yellow, again, you're long above that and short below. Still wasn't a deep enough move to result in a change in the overall bullishness of the market, because until you get that real push here of NBI white and red dipping below there, you're going to continue to struggle. And as long, and two, also you can look for when red is above blue here, you're going to get the same situation of extended runs to the upside. And you can see where it started back over here, the same situation. Of course, we were following magenta. It happened before the red did, but in this case, you may see a matching combination of the two, and so that's just going to continue the progression. Nice little rotational shakeout there that took place, and you can see from a Nasdaq standpoint clearly just enormous power, and that's just the liquidity that's available anytime there's a dip and there's a concern. Because I think on ES, anything below the 42, 50, 70 range is problematic, because it opens up all sorts of option plays in that. And of course, the volatility increase from the VIX doesn't really care which direction necessarily we're going, just that the swings are getting bigger, and therefore the premium on options is going to rise. And so that will make any of those moves more exacerbated, which will create, in turn, more turmoil, which just makes for nice ranges. From a gold standpoint, it's still trying to work through this difficulty. The fact that it's holding on with the NBI weight this strong, pretty amazing. And from a euro standpoint, still off of its lows. It's a nice little spike here, probably not going to last very long. We look to the ABM again, surprise within that. And of course, Bitcoin, as we talked about, had been trading around that 34K, but every time it got there, you'd get the spike of white before. It was a matter of waiting for that dip breakdown with the white popping up, and it still lasted a couple more bars before breaking down to that zero. And you can see most of the day still producing those white NBI setups over. So just a matter of seeing it continue back up and look for that 32K level to be touched again. From an intraday standpoint, well, it started off bleak with that white NBI spiking above. We're in full DOC spread decline here with the cyan over green, and then the green dips below red, and then that shakeout. Look at that, well below the negative 13.5 throughout that entire dip. And then even when we were consolidating, every time we were getting these spikes of the NBI, all I'm looking for at that particular point is, do I have green moving above cyan, as it did at the start of this one, and then the late breakdown came after, and then you've got the split that took place right there with the NBI. So all of it happening together. And that led to a quick move. And when you see those, that's where you tend to get a bit more power in those setups. And then as we kind of moved across throughout the day, we just sort of the base going through, and then there was this little dip that filled in all of these pops of the white, suggesting the zero revisited. And when the zero did get revisited, and we had the brief sell-off that took place there, it started to have a much different look from the NBI yellow magenta standpoint, because it was staying above that maintain level and progressing from there. And you were also a positive shakeout. And so big difference between that negative shakeout there and then even this slow build of a shakeout. And once that started, you ended up with this, what we talked about, where you get even the white spike, but the magenta was over, and then yellow and magenta spike up above as white continues lower, and that usually leads to a continuation move, and that's exactly what took place. Didn't get a configuration sell until right about here, where that white started to pop up. It took a little bit, but did achieve that zero marker once again. And then in after hours, we had the white spike took place. It was a matter of the breakdown, with the white tilting back up. It moved to the zero. We get a secondary one going right here, but as you can see, once it popped up, we had the immediate pivot of the yellow of that, which has led to where we're currently sitting. And bullish until we get a substantive change From that white setup, you've got green, still slightly below. I believe the current reading on that is 32, and green is minus 138. So if the green overtakes it, we would expect even bigger pushback towards the highs. But they were back over the 43, I think, is a critical level. Once you get into this 42 range, they really start to think about turning on those buy programs and covering it so that it doesn't break down, because it break down there, and boy, there's just a whole lot of space when you look at that daily chart as to where things can go. There's just not a whole lot of support, and theoretically you could get dips all the way into the 38 range, which would be catastrophic in some people's minds. That would be interesting, but I don't think that we have anything that backs up that kind of prognostication at this particular point. We'll save the doom and gloom for when it's called for. For now, we're just going to trade what is. As always, though, I will update details on the Skype chat. Trade well.